Awesome. Peace and love, butterflies. Wow, this is going to be a check-in. This is going to be a beautiful episode. I can already feel it because I feel beautiful. What I'm looking at is beautiful. What I just wrote is beautiful. So I'm going to start off by just saying that I just cleaned my room. I still got to sweep and mop. I'm going to do that tomorrow. It's currently like 1:50 in the rising. Or at night, whichever you like to call it. My friend and roommate gave me some bookshelves, so like 2 small tiny ones, so I put them on different sides of my room and made a new altar. I put some books in there. I hung up some art, a lot of it actually, and the space just looks better and better. Like, it brings me so much pleasure and it always looks so good, and then it's like every few weeks it just gets better in like the smallest ways, and it's been such an honor and pleasure to cultivate this space and just watch it grow into new things every few weeks. And I know that it's a reflection of me, so that feels even more deep, even more lovely. And I just got out the shower. I was journaling, and I wanted to share with you all what I wrote. I was writing 5 things I'm grateful for, because for some reason I haven't done it like that in a while, probably like a week maybe, and I do that like every day. So the number 1 was, it's gonna lead, it's like a stream of consciousness, but I wrote my room, my room, my room. You know how it's like my man, my man, my man. Hold up, y'all. Let me lotion my face because I don't like when my face is dry. It just feels so freaking weird. I know y'all could probably relate, especially like after you wash your face and brush your teeth and it be so dry around like your mouth. I don't play that shit. I don't like that shit. So let me just moisturize. I have some beautiful, very pleasing, very loving shea butter from my friend Sage, and it's she has a line or business called Spirits and Shea. And boy, let me tell you, right now I'm using, which one is this? Why do I want to say bergamot? Actually, I have this sheet of paper right here that tells me everything I need to know. So it is, I have this is not the right one. It's a different one. Dang, okay, I don't remember. But yeah, y'all should definitely, if y'all looking for a shea butter that's like moisturizing and like penetrating, but also like medium. I won't say it's super light, but it's like medium. It's good enough for me to use on my face. Like the texture of it is good enough for me to use on my face. So it's like, yeah, I really love it. And I definitely recommend it. 11 out of 10. So yeah, shout out my friend Sage. Love her down. She's a Sag too. Very creative, very beautiful. But yeah, so I wrote my room, my room, my room. The love, the trust, the safety, the security, the patience, the vulnerability, the peace, the wholeness. And then this is the part where like the stream of consciousness started flowing. And shout out my friend Atomic Alexis, because I feel like going to her open mic, I decided on going so last minute, like literally like 30 minutes after it started. I was like, oh, I'm gonna go. And I happened to get on the list and everything, which was dope. But I feel like this really that event sparked me writing again, like writing, being able to write about the things I'm writing about now. And it's wild because like specifically about my after my most recent breakup, it's been so hard to write about it. Like, it's just, I don't know, it's just like every time I try to write a song, or poetry is a little easier, and journal entries are easier, of course, but it's like I've only been able, like at first I wasn't even able to talk about it. It was just so much, I wasn't even able to talk. Then like journaling about it started to happen slowly. I couldn't finish songs about it, but I would write like lines, and like 2 lines here, 2 lines there. Now I like am able to write songs and poetry about it, but it's all happening very slow and like just at a beautiful pace and divine timing. And so I'm really happy about, how that's all been able to come together. I actually wrote a poem about it at Atomic Alexis's event last night, and I'm really proud of it, but that's for another time. So the last thing I wrote was the wholeness, and then I wrote side note, and this kind of like little poem came out of it, and it said, wholeness doesn't mean never broken. It means all of it, the negative and positive, the good and the bad and the good, the pain, the healing, and the pleasure, all added up to what you see. I am not smiling because I never cried. I am not strong because I was never weak. I am not whole because I was never broken. I have been all those things, and I am still because of all those things. Ashe, 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 Imani. I really like this because it just makes me think of my room, because my room has only ever been like super junky, like probably 3 times in the past like few months that I've lived here. And I was just thinking about how it just looked totally different than what it looks like now. But that is really such a good perspective, I feel like, because I think when we like, and especially how I've been thinking of wholeness, like for the past few months I've been saying I want to love from a space of wholeness. I want to, give from a space of wholeness and abundance, like all of these things. And I think that like my idea of it then was very good, but like this as the perspective of like, let me gather my thoughts, like, loving from a space of wholeness doesn't mean loving from a space of perfection. Loving from a space of wholeness doesn't mean loving from a space of together, like I'm put together. I think you can love from many different spaces. Even this, like, this is gonna, like, y'all can argue me down about this because I kind of mean this but kind of don't at the same time, but like I do. Like, you can love from a space of toxicity, and like we like to say that that's not love, like that's attachment, and I think it is. I think like there's a big part of me that doesn't agree with anything I'm about to say. Like, it's hard to explain. That's why some things that are like, when you're explaining spiritual things or down, like explaining uploads or channel messages, it's like sometimes very hard to explain it like in English or human form or just in a way that makes sense, because it's so complex and simple at the same time that it almost like contradicts each other and is a never-ending loop. But if you feel it, you feel it, and that's why I mostly go off feelings. So like, you can love from a space of like need. Yeah, not that I want to love from those spaces. I think what I'm getting at is like, let me think, because I want to be intentional. I want to make sure I'm not doing things from a space of feeling like I gotta be perfect, or feeling like I gotta be put together like fully, or just like, I don't know, like, yeah, perfect. I don't want to wait until anything is perfect to put it out or to speak on it or to feel it or to do it or to say it. Like, I just want to do what feels right, and I want to be. And I have this song, I don't know what I'm going to call it, but right now I'm calling it I Guess I'm Crazy. And at first I'm like, I'm not going to put it out because I'm going to wait for the album. I'm going to wait until I work on this album and finish it and shit like that. But it's just like, I want to do it now. And like the way it makes me feel when I listen to it now, I feel like that's important, because me feeling my music when I put it out is important. I'm realizing that this is kind of all over the place, y'all. But yeah, like, wholeness doesn't mean everything's okay now. It doesn't mean like everything's perfect now, everything's great now. It just means everything is everything, and I'm here, and I'm still here, and I'm showing up, and I'm being. Everything is everything. There's always going to be challenges. There's always going to be shit you don't like. There's always going to be pain and toxicity and, negativity and things like that. But there's also always going to be discernment. There's always going to be peace. There's always going to be love, healing, growth, positivity. You know what I'm saying? There's always going to be all of those things, and all of those things are reasons to be. All of those things are reasons to love. All of those things are reasons to show up. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to just be completely on the other side for things to go right for you, or for things to make sense, or for things to be justifiable. And I think I'm gonna carry that with me in my life right now. And specifically like with this breakup too, I think that I don't have to be perfect to deserve love or feel love. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, recently, how do I explain it? I recently, I guess, reconnected briefly with my previous partner, and it just showed me a lot about, like, after, you know, things ended again, which they never even really started fully or reconnected in that way, but like after it was like, yeah, no, again, I thought I was gonna be fucked up, and I was for like a day. And sometimes when I think about it, I still feel I still feel fucked up, but it's like I've also had some super happy times, like right after, and educational and sisterhood and just so much. And it's just like, I really thought that because I reconnected with that person that I was going to be like fucked up, in the sense of like all my shit I was just going to start having bad luck in a way. Like my events was going to be fucked up, like just different shit. And it's like none of that is happening. It's actually been the complete opposite. And it's like I was performing at a festival called Alignment in Philly the other day, and I was getting sound healing from this person, this amazing being named Kuan, Quaking of the Bees on Instagram, I think it is his at. And he said something at the end of sound healing, well, during, he was just like, every decision you've made is the right one. And he was saying how like it all was the right thing, and you're living in your it's just like living in your person. We hear these things all the time, but like it just hit different, like especially that all the decisions were the right one, because I knew that me deciding to reconnect with her wasn't a good decision. But at the same time, it was, because I would have never learned some of the things I learned in those brief few days. And after that, like, mini heartbreak again, I would have never learned certain things, and like how she explained certain shit to me, like I just would have never picked up on certain things. And so it just made me realize, like, I'm not gonna be punished. Shit isn't gonna go to shit now because I did that. Like, that was the right decision. And I can choose to move more into wholeness after it. I don't have to be fucked up about it. I don't have to. Granted, I'm gonna feel my feelings because I'm human. Like, I'm gonna feel disappointed, abandoned, sad, violated. You know what I'm saying? Disappointed. All these things, especially considering like some of the reasons that we aren't together. You know what I'm saying? Like, some of them are very like hard to adjust to reasons, and so, and triggering reasons, I guess I'll say. But at the same time, like I said, it's just like I immediately fell more into wholeness and more into love and more into self-love. And I didn't expect that. You know, I expected to be fucked up. Crazy part is I went into reconnecting with her knowing that it was like kind of expecting it to fuck me up, and just feeling like, listen, I don't even care right now. In this moment, I need XYZ, you know? And like, of course, there are some side effects and some downfalls that came with that when it comes to me personally, and like how I felt afterwards. You know, like I said, the mini heartbreak, the disappointment within myself, you know what I'm saying? The anger towards, you know, just shit going on. But it's just like, no, I felt deeper into joy and happiness and peace, and like I didn't expect that, and my blessings got bigger. Which is, I'm not saying go text your ex. I definitely don't recommend. -3 out of 10. And you'll get your lessons regardless, so don't go do that. But I'm just saying, like, sometimes we think, you know, that perfectionism is what gets us far in life. That not making mistakes, that not having downfalls, that not like doing the quote unquote toxic shit, when like whole time it's like all of it is a part of your story. All of it is who you are. Not saying you are the toxic things you do, but I'm saying like you still deserve success in love with with all of the things that you've done. You still deserve healing. You still deserve blessings, and God believes you do too. And I had to, like, afterwards, you know what I'm saying, after me and this person like disconnected, that after those brief few days, it's like I had to go to God and apologize. I had to go to myself and apologize, because I knowingly walked into fire. You know what I'm saying? And I expressed to myself that there was a part of myself, you know, I was having conversations with my different personalities and energies, but like a part of me was telling myself like, yeah, I am disappointed. I do feel disconnected from you in this moment because you broke my trust. We decided we wasn't going to do XYZ because of ABC. And you did that, and you put me in harm's way. And so I feel some type of way towards you right now. I don't really want to talk. You know what I'm saying? I felt like that for a couple days, for like 2 days. You know what I'm saying? By the night of the second day, though, I went to myself and I apologized. And I apologized to God, too, because we're of the same. And I know that God had a better plan for me. But at the same time, it's crazy because while I do feel like I needed to apologize, and I was apologetic, and I did feel like there was a level of, like, respect I had to amend or, like, build back up, at the same time, God knew I was going to do that. And I was already forgiven. But you know how, like, you do somebody, for example, like, maybe you do somebody dirty, but you know that they already going to forgive you, but you still got to speak on it, right? And let them know that you're aware that that wasn't okay, and that wasn't the right thing, and that you're doing, and then show that you're making it better and making up for it. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, you know you're forgiven, but again, you still got to apologize. That's kind of what it was. And I'm glad we're having this conversation, because actually I just put that into perspective, because I felt it, but I didn't know how to, like, put words to it. Like, I'm like, I don't know, explaining it was hard. Like, I don't feel like I should have to apologize, like, it's, you know, different stuff. So that makes sense. I get it now, why I felt how I felt, because even though I knew I was forgiven, and I would forgive myself over time, I needed to hear it, and I needed to speak on it, because just because it's forgiven don't mean you shouldn't speak on it and say shit. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I forget why I was saying that. I think it was because I was thinking, like, you know, if I was gonna be punished and shit like that. I forget where I was going with that, but I still feel in alignment. So, and that's funny, that was the name of the festival. I think I said that in Philly. But yeah, like, everything is like, I'm still, like, who I am, and my story and my successes are still happening, and are still gonna happen, the ones I have planned, and that's just how it's gonna be, because that's what I deserve, and that's just that on that. Oh, and, like, I do want to speak on the rebuilding that I had to do with myself. Like, after I apologized, like, I apologized 2 different times, I think. And the second time, I'm trying to remember, 2 separate conversations or the same one, but the second time, I know I was journaling. I was writing a letter to myself, and in the letter, like, I just started channeling crazy, and I was telling myself, like, so that's why I put the pen down and I started speaking, and she was just like, I already forgive you. By this point, this was like the 3rd day. Yeah, it was the third day at nighttime, and she was like, I already forgive you, like, I know that you're sorry. And she was just saying how, like, I just want to see you work for me now. Like, I forgive you, but I still do want to see it work. And I was like, okay, I could do that. I could make that happen, you know. So I did. I was doing the work, you know, whatever I needed. You know, I was doing it. I was showing up. I was handling my business. I was taking care of myself and rebuilding it. And it's funny because I started thinking, like, it's crazy because the same, like, grace that I had from my previous partner, after everything that happened, it's like I still wanted to forgive them. I still wanted to be around them and just, like, feel them and feel how they made me feel. And it's like I was willing to take those few days of being in their presence and ignoring all the fuck shit that happened. You know what I'm saying? Just to, like, feel them again and feel within myself how they make me feel, even with all the shit. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like what I was telling myself in the moment we was having a conversation, and she was saying she forgive me, as in, like, myself was saying it to myself. She was like, it came to me like the same way you can have grace just because you want to be connected with that person. I want you to have that for me. Like, I want us to be able to, like, I want you to crave that same connection that you crave with them with me, even after we had this little mishap, even after you disappointed me. Like, you know what I'm saying? And side note, something that my aunt pointed out that's really important to remember is, like, it's moments of disappointment and shame and anger and hurt. Those are the most important times when you should show up and have conversations with yourself, and you should apologize, and you should, like, spend time with yourself. Like, don't run from it. Because I think that's what I was subconsciously doing. But she was like, that myself was telling myself, that's when I really want to see you. You know what I'm saying? Because you need me most in those times. So she was like, you know, don't run from that. Like, you know, show up. And anyway, yeah, she was like, I want you to have that same craving. And in the moment, like, I didn't feel it all the way because I still felt that disconnect. And I think it was because I just felt like I re-traumatized myself, and it's almost like I was in shock. But over time, I started to feel not only reconnected with myself, but that craving. I started to feel that craving. And that's something I don't always feel, like a craving to just be with myself or like do things that I need. That's something that's like still being worked on within me, but I started to feel it. And looking at my room is like, yeah, it's there. I love myself. I love what I bring to the table. I love who I am. I love what I do for myself. I love what I do for people. I love my life. I really do. I live a really good life. Also, I wanted to share too that like today I had went back to a job that I had a few months ago, and it's not like the job isn't necessarily fun, but it was really dope to kind of like be back in that space, because before, so me and this person were together for like some months, and then we had broke up for some months, and then we had got back together for some months, and we broke up. But that in between, that time when we was broken up, like after the first time, I had started doing so much new shit, and like this job was one of those things. And I left that job when me and this person got back together that second time officially, and it was something so healing and serving and nice and nostalgic almost about like just being in a physical space and practice that I was in before that person came back around. And even with this, like with the Butterfly Experience podcast, like I really got into the podcast right after me and that person split up. And like I got deep into it over time, like when we would split up. But like when we would reconnect, I would always lose my footing with the podcast. And like, so it's just really dope to me that today I not only like reconnected with that job and like was back in that space, but also like reconnecting with y'all all within the same like 24 hours. Not 24 hours within like the recent little brief reconnection we had. I'm saying like just today was a day full of things that felt nostalgic from that last time that me and this person had broke up. And it's just nice. It's nice to be alone again. It's nice to be single. It's nice to be healing from that relationship instead of being in it. And like, yeah, like it's just nice, because I also be feeling like that first time we had broke up, I was like doing so well. I was really happy. And I think that I'm not going to say I wasn't sad and I wasn't grieving, because I was, but I was doing so many things that made me happy. I was active. I was out and about. I was conscious of my freedom and acting on it in so many creative, beautiful, self-serving ways. And I feel like the second time this person and I broke up, especially just considering everything that happened that second time that we were together, and like the shit that like was brought to my consciousness about things, I think that's another thing that made the second breakup harder. And so like part of what I've been feeling in this second go round is like, damn, I miss how I was grieving and healing the first time around. Like the peace I was able to cultivate, the joy, the life I was able to cultivate, you know, because it's been harder the second time. But like today just made me realize like it's getting a lot easier. Like I'm getting stronger. I'm just doing better, and I'm healing, and I'm really happy for myself. Especially considering how I felt when we did that little brief reconnection, and how I felt in the moment, you know, after it was broken off. It was just like, damn, like I said, I thought that shit was gonna fuck me up for a third time. Or really, like, we was so on and off, like, that shit was so crazy. But I thought it was gonna fuck me up. And it's like, damn, I didn't think only a few days later I'd be sitting here saying I'm happy and I'm proud of myself and all of that. And again, back to the point of wholeness and it not being from things not being broken. It's just like, I'm not sitting here saying I don't get triggered. I'm not sitting here saying I don't think about what happened and I don't get upset and I don't get this and that. But like, it's just nowhere near what I thought it would be, and it's nowhere near what it used to be. And I'm just really like, I can't stress enough how grateful I am for that, because I could have been fucked up, like I keep saying, and I'm not. Emotionally or mentally or spiritually, I'm not fucked up. I'm okay. I'm better than okay. So I say all of that to say, you mean like, my throat hurts. I've been straining my voice for a few days. I really need to get some rest. So yeah, it's currently 2:16. But I say all of that to say, like, that God is good. And sometimes we think we lost parts of ourselves because things are so different now and we've been through so much. But that part of you is not lost. It's still there. And you can access it at any point. And it might never be exactly the same, but you best believe it could be better. And I'm going to keep believing it. And I'm going to keep celebrating how good I feel and keep tapping into the things that just make me happy. And I'm going to keep banking on and betting on and looking forward to the day when in every way, shape, and form, that painful thing does not have an effect on me anymore. Like, when I can look back and be like, oh yeah, you know what I'm saying? I used to date that person, or I used to work at that job, or I used to believe that about myself, or I used to be in that situation. And it's like, you laugh. And it's just like, that's just not, that shit don't even pinch me no more. I know that there's going to be a day when I can say that about this. And it reminds me of the song I just performed at Alignment. It's not out yet, but it's the poem. She's trying to. Heartache can be the worst pain. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but heartache can be the worst pain. And I finally convinced myself that my tears are not in vain. So when I look back, I can laugh and say I wouldn't change a thing, because I cried and screamed and fought until peace was what I chose. I can't keep holding you down if in the interim I cannot grow. You're beautiful in your own way, and now I know so am I. And I had to let you go so we both could fly. And it feels like milk and tea. How I loved you, I'm loving me. My spirit is emerging. Positive energy. It's time to put this on out too. I'm about to go back to putting out a visual and a single a month. Thank y'all. I guess I'm Crazy is a good song to put out in Virgo season. Yeah. Because it's Leo season right now, but Virgo season feels like this. So we'll see. Well, I just got 27. Anyway, thank y'all for y'all patience and y'all love and y'all support on this podcast. I really appreciate y'all wholeheartedly, and I'm so excited to start doing the interviews again. And yeah, everything is everything. And just remember, you are still whole with your brokenness. You are still whole with your pain, with your positivity, with your strengths, your weaknesses. All parts of you are still whole. And don't aim for perfection. Just aim for like a knowing of who you are and operating from that space. A knowing of the fact that you are complete with everything and operating from that space. Thank y'all so much for listening. I look forward to the next episode. Peace and love.